In this tutorial, I will look at dimensioning. I'll start by drawing a closed shape. Select the Line command, and then I'll click anywhere in the upper left corner. Then relative to that point, I'll come down 70 units. From that point, I'll move across 100 units. And then again 100 units, but now at an angle of 120 degrees. Now I'll terminate the Line command, and if I press Enter at this point, the Line command starts again. Now I'll turn on Object Snaps and snap to the endpoint of the first line. I'll turn on Ortho mode, and then select a point past the inclined line. Press Enter to end the command. Now I'll select the Trim command. At this point, I'll press Enter to select all of the objects to be cutting edges. Then I'll trim away the parts I don't want, and press Enter. Now I'll use Zoom Window so we can see the object a little better. Then I'll type F, the alias for fillet, to use the fillet command. I'll set the fillet radius to 10, so I'll type R, Enter, 10, Enter, and then choose this edge and this one. Lastly, I'll add a circle to the drawing. Initially, I'll put the center of the circle at this corner. I'll make the radius 15. Then I'll use the Move command. So I'll select the circle and press Enter to end my selection. For the base point, I'll choose Anywhere, and then move relative to that base point 30 to the right and 40 up. This will serve as a plate with a hole. So now I'm ready to start dimensioning. First, I'll open the Dimension toolbar. In the View pull-down menu, select Toolbars, and activate the Dimension toolbar. I will dock the toolbar up at the top. And now, briefly describe some of the dimensioning tools. This is the Linear Dimension tool. Dimensions using this tool will either be horizontal or vertical. If you want to dimension the length of an inclined line, like this for instance, you would use the Aligned Dimension tool. This is used to dimension a radius, for example an arc or a round. This is the Diameter Dimension tool. This is used to add an angle. You can add a leader with a note using this tool, and this allows you to add center marks. This window describes the current dimension style. ISO stands for the International Standards Organization, and the 25 is an indication that the dimension text height will be 2.5 millimeters if the plot scale is 1:1. This is the Dimension Style control, where we can define and modify dimension styles. Now to start with, I will choose the center mark icon and add a center mark to the circle. This center mark is not the style that I would like, so I will press Undo, and to modify the appearance of the center mark, I will select the Dimension Style icon. This opens the Dimension Style Manager. I want to modify the current dimension style so I'll select Modify, and then switch to the Lines and Arrows tab. In the lower right corner, you see that the center marks used are marks. I will change this to Line. Press OK, and close. Now when I add the center mark, I get these center lines with the mark. So at this point, I'm ready to start adding dimensions. First, I'll locate the circle with respect to the closed shape. So I'll choose Linear Dimension, snap to the endpoint of the center line, and then to this corner. Notice that I can either add a vertical or a horizontal dimension. In this case, I will add the height dimension. Again, I'll use the Linear Dimension tool, and this time snap to this endpoint and snap to the corner. It might be more appropriate to snap to an intersection because I could accidentally snap to the wrong endpoint. One is this corner, and the other is the endpoint of the extension line for the 4D dimension. So make sure you snap to the right one. Now we have these two dimensions that position the hole. Next, I'll create the principal dimensions of the plate. I'll dimension the length by selecting these two corners. Then I'll add the height. So those are all of the linear dimensions. Now I will add the radius of this round. Select the radius dimension icon and pick the round. Notice I can move the dimension around to different locations. I'll keep all of the dimensions outside of the shape. So there's the radius. Now I'll add the diameter for the hole. Next I'll add an angle. I'll select the two lines that define the angle. As I move the mouse around, I can apply any one of the 4 different angle dimensions. I'll keep this dimension of 120 degrees outside of the object. Now I'll look at the aligned dimension. Select the icon, and when I select the endpoints of this inclined line, the dimension is no longer horizontal or vertical, it is aligned. I don't really need that though, so I'll press Escape to cancel the command. Another thing that I can add is a leader. So I'll click on this, and I would like the arrow of the leader line to touch this line here. So I'll use the object snap called Nearest. I'll type NEA, and this allows me to snap to a point on an object that is nearest to the cursor. I'll select this point. Now ortho mode is still on, so I will turn it off and then select another point. Press Enter, and now I'm prompted for a text width. I'll accept the default of 0. Now I can enter some text. The mText in brackets tells us that the text will be a multi-line text object. So I will enter steel plate and press Enter. I could add a second line, but I'll press Enter to end the command. So there you see the effect of the leader. Now if I click on any of these dimensions, notice that the dimension text, dimension lines, extension lines, and arrows are a single object. If I wanted to modify the position of these features, I can use the grips. So to create a visible gap between the object and the extension line, I'll click inside the grip. I'll turn off the running object snaps, turn on ortho, and then select a point a little to the left of the original. Press Escape to deselect. Now you can see a visible gap. I will now change the height of the dimension text. You can see that the text is rather small for this object. So I can increase the size of the dimensions by selecting the dimension style icon. Again, I'll click on Modify. But this time, I'll switch to the Fit tab. Now I will change the overall scale to 2. This serves as a multiplier. Press OK and close. Here you can see the effect. The dimension text height, gap spacing, arrow size, as well as a number of other things have doubled. The only thing that was unaffected is the text height of the leader line. I can modify that by selecting the text and then right-click. I could either select Properties or mText Edit. I will select mText Edit. Then I'll highlight the text and change the font size to 5. Press Enter to apply the change and select OK. There you see I've modified the text height. This completes the tutorial on basic dimensioning techniques in AutoCAD.